Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of AEW Spark. Now, I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster. Here we discuss everything all elite wrestling. Tonight, we're going to give you the rundown. And yes, spoiler alert, we are going to give you the results of AEW Dark, as well as our preview and predictions and outtakes of the upcoming episode of AEW Dynamite tomorrow night, emanating from Kansas City. The go home, I might add, to AEW's first pay-per-view of 2020, Revolution. What a card they built. But before we get into all that, of course, let me introduce you to my guests. I want to try and use this forum to introduce people that are fans of All Elite Wrestling, whether new, long-standing since the rally, etc. But I also want to give other people's insight on this too. After all, this show is driven by the fans, just like AEW was driven by independent wrestling and fans of independent wrestling. With that being said, please let me introduce you to my good friend here. He is the leader of the Pro Wrestling Report Facebook group, and I am also a member of a predictions league he created, and he just manages, by the way. That's why he's truly driven by fan outtake. Appreciate that. It's my good friend here, fellow member of the NoDQ Galaxy, Gary Joe, Gary Poddes, wherever you might have seen him on YouTube. Gary, how are you this evening?
I am doing excellent, my friend. Thank you very much for having me on this episode, Noah. I just, I see your stuff all the time, and I really get into your channel like through and through, just like Christopher Holiday makes his YouTube channel. When you invited me to be a part of this, I was like more than excited, because when I was talking about AEW, it's like literally, I've never been so stoked about a company. I think it's because this is what the wrestling fans need, and that is hope. And they're giving me that hope. They're true about their alternative, and I can't wait to discuss about if we can discuss that, Noah, about our thoughts from last week's major show of Dynamite.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay. I was thinking about that too, because again, you are literally my first guest on this new series I started last week called AEW Spark. That's all about giving an insight to this week, but also we can briefly highlight maybe even our top 5 moments. We can pick up that. I know I did that for Twitter. I had a couple, but yeah, definitely last week. Let's start with that. AEW Dynamite last week. That show felt like a pay-per-view. That was bloody insane. You had, of course, the 10-team, I think it was, tag team battle royal over the top rope. Both members had to be eliminated, and the winner, of course, gets to challenge the AEW tag team champions for the titles at AEW Revolution. That will be this Saturday via the Fight Network on, I believe, Fight TV app, excuse me. And also we had a first time ever debut and match with the first ever steel cage match. I like their steel cage, and I like their stipulations, as Cody took on Wardrow and gave us moment of the night, in my opinion. We saw Ali and Orange Cassidy get into it. I liked that a lot for some reason. And then you had a banger of matches with Chris Statlander and Shana, two women that have thoroughly impressed me, as well as Kenny Omega and Adam Page, still no team name, took on the Lucha Bros, and they were defending their tag team titles, and they defended them successfully, as well as we were hopping up the events to come this week. And we also, of course, had Jeff Cobb taking on I can't do Justin Roberts, sorry, Moxley. And I think I about covered everything. So with that being said, let's just go briefly highlight some key moments and takeaways we have from that week's Dynamite. Gary, let's just say this, what was your biggest takeaway from last week's Dynamite? And if you could pick 3 top moments, what would they be?
Well, let's definitely start with number 3 to number 1. My number 3 moment of the night for me, definitely the Battle Royal. I feel when they do a Battle Royal, it's just, they really live up to their promise of something very exciting. Now, I know there was maybe some people a little negative about it. Oh, come on, the Young Bucks winning it, really? Come on. Why? Because now it's Elite versus Elite. It doesn't bother me. It really doesn't in a way, because I'm going to discuss my opinion on their match at Revolution in a second. It's just really, really good stuff. I feel like when the tag teams are a part of a battle royal for that, or just any superstar, really, it's actually building a superstar. And that's what I like about AEW doing this. This is building the Dark Order situation too, which was perfectly delivered. Could this mean potentially Raven running Dark Order. Which did you catch that, Noah?
I did. I still think that's a red herring because that's a bold idea.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe that's a little overreaching. Maybe TNT wants Raven back on their network, but yeah, that's a whole different story. Yeah.
I remember that story.
Yeah. Oh. So, moment number 2 for me, it's really a toss-up. The women for me, Statlander and Shayna, especially Shayna, really showed something with me in that match against Statlander. She really felt like, hey, you know what? Put her really strong in that women's division because she's a rebel without a cause, kind of like Statlander. And my favorite thing, I'm going to call this a mockery of the finger poke of doom, but it's the finger boke of doom with Statlander. I thought that was perfect. I mean, I'm really, really growing on Statlander. And I know there was just a women's title match that just happened previous Dynamite, but I'm really wanting Statlander to win the women's title. And I know that's probably too soon, but to me, she's the one that should have really won the title. But yeah, so you said it right, Noah. Oh, wait, sorry, my other tie with the top 2.
Right, you're number 1.
I would have to say Jeff Cobb. Wow, he showed a lot in that match. I think that was a tryout match because I guess AEW gave an offer to Cobb after that match, and I really hope they sign him. I mean,
yeah. So here's the way I look at it. I'm just gonna try and briefly sum it up. I can't do top 3, okay? But if I had time, I would review the shows. Here's my output. The Tag Team Battle Royal not only built, in my opinion, new stars, it built new feuds, as we're going to talk about with this upcoming matches of AEW Dynamite. I want to see Luchasaurus and the Butcher go at it one-on-one. What a standoff! And I feel like Sammy Guevara was watching Shelton Benjamin tapes because that super kick out of midair where he folded over, that was beyond brilliant.
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. The Hybrid 2, they're one of the most unique tag teams for me in the AEW tag team division. I was rooting for them to win. I was hoping for like a big shocker, like when Private Party beat the Young Bucks. But I get it. There's a strong driven storyline across Dynamite, being the Elite, social media platforms, etc. when it comes to the Elite and Paige and Omega. Paige feeling like an outsider. Paige maybe a little envious. Paige trying to branch on his own. And that was definitely showcased this week on Being the Elite, if you all watched it. And going back to what you said about Chris Statlander, this was the best match I've seen from the women's division on Dynamite in a long time. Chris Statlander and Shauna look like absolute superstars. Both of them are really starting to define their character. I still want to see Shauna give me some sort of anime, Dragon Ball Z-driven promo where she talks about her power level, or I unleash my inner Saiyan, because you saw she wore the same gear I saw it. She's a fan of Dragon Ball Z, folks. She was wearing Goku. I feel like she should be Vegeta, but that's a whole different debate for another day. And she's a former wrestler, of course, from Rev Pro, so I do know a little bit of her work. Chris Statler has impressed me since her debut. I'm very familiar with her, and I'm also very familiar with her history with Orange Cassidy, because they faced each other multiple times in the independent scene. That's why you see that subtle chemistry there with the two most unique anomalies of Dynamite, per se, that are really getting over. Orange Cassidy, I think, is still the biggest star to this day, and he hasn't even had a match yet. How is that possible?
People just want to they want something different, buddy.
Yeah, and again, she's Galaxy's favorite alien, and ever since her debut, they have strapped the rocket to Chris Statlander. She has had a very impressive record. And we'll get more into that a little later when we talk about the rankings, and as you said, the match that is coming this Saturday. I look at the tag team title match. Again, tag team wrestling is this company's greatest strength. Free the revival. Anyway, when the Lucha Brothers took on Omega and Paige, I saw some of them crazy spots. Ray Phoenix is a freaking human. I thought they had them on that Tiger Driver spot, but no. Buckshot, lariat, V-trigger combination, and once again, the champs retain, and they are undefeated this year, 4-0 ever since winning these titles, and yet they still don't have a name for their tag move, and they still don't have a team name. Will that change after Saturday? Only time will tell. And then you heard Nyla Rose, you heard her promo. She sounds like a very dominant champion, but she's already got a couple of challengers, and this wasn't the typical WWE way where you hear music, you come down the ring, you say your spot. What happens? Chris Statlander comes out, and she whoops the title. And Swole, she pumps up that arm. There's two candidates right there that I think could have great matches with Nyla Rose. Community criticism aside, for reasons. You know what I'm talking about. Hi, Amy. Thank you, by the way, always for your equality and positive civil mind, too. She is a huge supporter also of AEW Dynamite. I mostly talk a lot about wrestling on Twitter. And then, of course, we have to talk about Jeff Cobb and Jon Moxley. This was a rematch from G1 Climax last year. Of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling's always been a number one, so I was very familiar with this match, and I knew these two were going to kill it. And Jeff Cobb looking like an absolute beast, no pun intended, in this match, showcasing all the power moves here, nearly beating Jon Moxley. Only for Jon Moxley to just pull out of nowhere a snap, paradigm shift, and get the win. Very impressive debut by Jeff Cobb, and I do hope they sign him with AEW, especially because this company flexes with its talent, because they know, okay, you like this, you're going to take some independent dates, that's fine. Because at first, he wasn't sure he was going to sign. Now, AEW is willing to offer him a contract that will not only allow him to wrestle in AEW, but New Japan Pro Wrestling. And guess what? Jeff Cobb is in the New Japan Cup. So there you go. And I will be talking about that soon, folks, in another video. Stay tuned for that. And then, of course, we got to talk about, of course, the hype for the Iron Man match, and we'll get more into that a little bit. But we got to conclude with this. You talk about storytelling. You talk about putting a star over. You talk about emotional investment, where you have the guy you absolutely hate, the guy you absolutely love, this astonishing person. You're like, holy hell. What a debut by Wardlow, and what a first ever, and this is how you treat a gimmick, steel cage match for AEW. And I love the stipulation idea that you cannot win via escape. However, you still have an exposed roof. So what do? As Cody said, you bet your ass I'm going to dive off that cage. And he gave us the freaking moment of the week with that freaking moonsault that could have killed him. And that got him the win. And then MJF being tossed aside into the audience by Arn Anderson, bringing up that past history, how Arn, he attacked Cody's father, Dusty. Shout out to those that remember the Four Horsemen and all those feuds and rivalries from WCW and wrestling beyond that. And then, of course, MJF looking on like, yeah, it's official. He's done everything now. You got his ads at Revolution. And that's basically to give you a brief summary of Dynamite. If I were to grade Dynamite last week, simple. It was an A. That show felt like pay-per-view level, wasn't one soft spot, one dull moment, and it didn't make me question anything. And it hyped me up for this week, and it built some new storylines, ideas, and potential matches I want to see. And I still want to see Allie get back in the ring, too, but that's a whole other thing. Love that show, top to bottom. Okay. So now that we talked about last week's Dynamite, let's go ahead and briefly discuss this week's Dark. As again, AEW Spark, I like to start off shedding some light on Dark as I bring you all in to this week's Dynamite. But I do like the idea of briefly going over last week's Dynamite and giving our moments. So I'll definitely take that in consideration. Thank you, Gary. So let's go ahead and briefly talk about this week's Dark, because we had a four-match showcase. Once again, this is episode 21, and it was, of course, commentary by what seems to be the permanent commentary team now for Dark. I guess they stopped the whole special guest thing now that they got that figured out. Taz and Excalibur, who I think have very great chemistry, both very in tune minds, professional wrestling, both show a little bit of their own character. Excalibur doesn't know how to shut up, and Taz getting that old hardcore mentality with some of his, puns per se, but also a little bit of a callback to some moments in his career, as was foreshadowed here. First match, though, briefly talking about it, let's go ahead and discuss it. It was Jimmy Havoc versus Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt, of course, getting a lot of slack due to his size. Some people call him a child. Some people think he shouldn't be in this company. But Marco Stunt, he has been a who in this business. There's a reason why he's so over in AEW, and why even Chris Jericho praises this guy, taking all this slack, all this bullying, and channeling it into his own, well, I guess you could say newfound confidence, as he just seems to be more and more confident with himself in the ring. And Stunt, of course, is no stranger to wrestling. He's been in the ring with the likes of Orange Cassidy, Brian Alvarez, even AC Romero. And that's another guy who's been stereotyped by the wrestling community due to his size. Impact Wrestling picked him up. He was involved in the freaking Casino Battle Royal. Couldn't think of it. Both these men were involved in the first ever Battle Royal. That wasn't Casino. Back when AEW wasn't even a thing, but it was a tease of things to come after we, of course, saw All In. And Marco Stunt confronted everybody, including Bully Ray and Coop Cabana. And he's been in the ring with Matt Cross and MJF. And then we go to Jimmy Havoc, a guy that I know very well from UK scene, simple as that. And he's been in the ring with a who's who as well, including his own sister, I might add. And he just loves dishing pain, and I still can't believe he survived that barbed wire baseball bat match with Sammy Callahan. That's a whole nother story. So this match for me, I think, was pretty easy to call. But again, I admire Marco Stunt's tenacity, heart, and I think he had a good showing. But there's also teased what they teased last week, as Luther and Mel, who are still undefined at this moment, now the Nightmare Collective's done, thank God. But they did come out and they watched Jimmy Havoc's match. Gary, your brief thoughts on this match, and what do you think? When does Marco Stunt need to pick up a singles win, and against who?
Well, gosh. You know, with Marco Stunt, who is he going to get his first victory with? Hey, plain and simple to me, either Peter Avalon or
yeah.
I'm going to say Peter Avalon. I was gonna fish for the other guy. I'm sorry. He's on BT all the time.
Brandon Cutler.
Yeah, there you go, Cutler. But
that's another guy that has yet to pick up a win. So there you go.
Yeah. Hey, there we go.
Yeah,
it will be a triple threat coming up here at Double or Nothing for the first ever win. And then, there we go.
Hey, that would be fun and creative. Double or Nothing Dark or After Hours. We'll see what happens there. But I mean, yeah, it was a short match. Marco Stunt, he got a few high octane moves in, and then Jimmy Havoc took control. It was a scary neck spot that made the crowd feel a little bit sympathetic because, again, neck injuries could literally put somebody on the shelf or end a career. Look at some of the wrestlers today that can't wrestle. But pretty much Acid Rainmaker, and that's not a freaking plug against Okada's Rainmaker, but he gets the win and pulls him up like an accordion 1, 2, 3, goes 2-0 this year. I think we know what's next for Jimmy Havoc down the line, but will they do lights out? I feel that's the only way to do it. Luper clearly wants a death match with Jimmy Havoc. Now, how does Mel come into play with this? I don't know.
I will say this though. I was actually very intrigued when I saw Mel and Luther. I'm thinking, wait a minute. So if they're going to counter with a Nightmare Collective, are we going to see Jimmy Havoc, Luther, and Mel? Possibly. I wouldn't want to see that personally because I'm a big Jimmy Havoc fan. I would like, I don't know, Jimmy Havoc and Luther in a match. I mean, it's been rumored that AEW, they want to do a Blood and Guts pay-per-view. So, hey, there we go.
Well, never say never, and AEW is all about changing the game. Hashtag change the world, change the universe. But even though Tony Khan says two things, one, I don't want intergender wrestling. Two, I don't believe in blood and guts. The elite might swim because, again, Tony Khan, he does lead all decisions in the end, but he does listen to, keyword folks, listen to creative ideas from the talent. It's been proven. But we'll see what happens. And then we go to the dynamic duo of Tony Schiavone and Daja Gonzalez. They're back together again. They briefly highlight the Exalted One as we segue into our next match, a tag team match with versus the Strong Hearts. It is Stu Grayson and Evil Uno versus Sema and Team Hawk. Strong Hearts I've been a fan of since day one, since I learned about OWE. I almost called it OEW for some reason. Team Hawk, of course, being the stiff chops, and Sema bringing that lucha and wrestling style background and play here with tons of meteors and double stomps. But in the end, Stu Grayson, he showed the aggressive here. I feel like he was the biggest key player in this match in helping the win here. Evil Uno got a few moves in. He's pretty agile for a big man. I'll give him credit. But Stu Grayson, I think, really carries this team as the disciples of the Dark Order look on. By the way, I will never join the Dark Order. That's another discussion for another day. And basically, towards the end, they set up that gory special overhead cutter combination called Fatality. And they do get the win after spiking Sema with a freaking DDT on the apron. I still thought it was a very good match, but I'm just curious at this point, when is Stronghearts going to get their win? I was thinking they were going to win because I thought they were going to build more to the idea that they want Christopher Daniels, and Christopher Daniels does have, connections with Sema and the Stronghearts in general. These guys have faced each other in the ring, SCU and the Stronghearts trio, without Linderman. But anyway, I thought this was a pretty good match. What's your takeaways from this match, Gary?
One of the things that I will say about this, I do agree with you. The Stronghearts really need to pick up a victory here. I mean, they really haven't done anything at all. To me, one of their biggest highlights was that Fight for the Fallen.
And that was just Sema.
Yeah, exactly. That was just Sema, man. So, I don't know. I mean, we're just going to give it time, like I always say about AEW. We can't get everything rushed at once, or everything could
Right.
be a little bit of a downward spiral, which I don't want that to happen. This really builds Dark Order better and better before, I'm just going to say it, potentially the deleted one to be debuting here. So if it's not him, man, it has to be Brody Lee. I mean, that was my original AEW first show going to Rochester, New York with a couple friends, and he was going to possibly debut in that Rochester show on the 18th. But it's got to, to me, it's definitely going to be Matt Hardy at this point of the game. But then again, that little tease that he did on his little Twitter thing where he's looking at the screen, kind of like a Randy Orton, and look what happened to Randy Orton. What does this mean for Matt Hardy? And you see what I mean? I feel like it's getting that tease, but it's not really going to happen with AEW. And Brody Lee would be the best addition for Dark Order. But anyway, that's a whole different ball game. That's a whole different discussion. But again, this is making Dark Order look legitimate, better. Can't wait to hear about your rankings because I'm curious to know where the heck they're at this point because they keep winning.
Yeah, right now they are literally 3-0. The Dark Order are. They are undefeated this year as a tag team, so clearly that's going to definitely adjust them in the rankings. But right now, I believe they're number 3. And by the way, folks, this is being recorded 9:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday night, February 25th. But I'm very curious that this win right now, it probably bumped them up to maybe number 2, because Young Bucks, of course, is number 1, even though the 2-1 record, and they are the number 1 contenders. And the thing is, the rankings don't truly define the number 1 contenders, as we'll get into later. But it definitely can show you who to look out for, at least from the champion standpoint. Because I'm sure the champions are constantly looking at the rankings. Though we know now what all 3 champions have to come this Saturday. And yeah, it's one of those things when I look at the records of SEMA, for example, he has yet to get a friggin' singles victory. I think his team had like 1 tag victory, and that was in an 8-man tag, I believe, with SCU. And I don't know so much if they count that because again, you look at the rankings, it's single, tag, trios, and there's no doubt in my mind, trios tags are coming this year. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, going along your idea of and the Exalted one, I get it. Everybody thinks it's Matt Hardy, okay? We have that cryptic binary tweet I saw, and they told me it's binary. No, it says join the Dark Order. And then everyone's talking about Matt Hardy. He's leaving. He's saying bye and all that stuff. But then I think about, like you said, Brody Lee. I don't think it's him because he's still part of Villain Enterprises. And I still think there's not really much of a tease yet about Ring of Honor and AEW coming together. We haven't heard high nor tail of anything about Ring of Honor since Ian Riccaboni did commentary back at All In. And I thought he did an amazing job, one of my favorite commentators today. And with that being said, though, you also have to consider that maybe it's one guy we're not thinking about now, and he's all over the place, and we don't know what's next for him. Lance Archer. With his intense attitude and the everybody dies thing, he probably could plug that into an idea of joining the Dark Order. Because right now, I won't lead you wrong, so that's another potential there. I just feel like it's got to be somebody big and surprising. I think it's not going to be Brian Cage, even though he was teased to be All Elite, but I don't think he fits the Dark Order mold either. He'll come in as a big powerhouse singles guy, and if they sign Jeff Cobb, I could definitely see Brian Cage and Jeff Cobb being the first feud set up. But that's a story for another day, as nothing is official yet about Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Jeff Cobb, or even Matt Hardy. It's all up in the air. But again, they talk about March. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get a tease on being the elite come March 2nd, even though they say March 1st, which is a Sunday. But nothing happens in AEW on Sunday. That's just the day after Revolution. They reset again for their next pay-per-view starting next week, Wednesday, which is actually March 4th. So I'm still fickle and baffled. But again, I truly don't think it's Matt Hardy. If it's Matt Hardy, I'll dye my hair blonde. Anyway.
Well,
yeah, I'll go simple squeezed if I don't wear nothing. How about that?
I will say this, though. Here, since we're doing bets here.
Okay.
Man. All right, so I'm going to make a shot in the dark here. No pun intended. I don't think it's going to be Matt Hardy either. I honestly do not see it being Matt because, again, one of the things I like about AEW, they really keep the suspense there. They really want you to believe that there is going to be a surprise. I do like the Lance Archer idea. I really did. Just thinking about that now that you bring it up. So I guarantee it's not going to be Matt Hardy either. So, but if I'm wrong, I will consider possibly shaving my beard, and I've never done that in a long, long time.
Maybe it's scary. Oh, dude, you realize you just said that on video, right?
Yeah, I do. It's going to be on
right.
YouTube and everything. So,
all right, very cool, very cool.
And I will say this to end the whole thing with the Dark Order. Weeks ago, I was not intrigued with this team. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, just stop, you know. But have you noticed, Noah, ever since the little botch that we saw that they did with Dustin Rhodes?
Yeah.
I feel like they're making this storyline more intriguing. I'm actually intrigued every week to know what the hell's going to happen with the Dark Order. And I thought that would never catch my attention weeks later.
It's funny because the Dark Order were just, driven as such a strong, powerful team. You think they would have become close towards the inaugural AEW championship titles, and they almost were. But then you look at that botch and you figure out what is your character? What are you? What are you trying to do here? And they literally turn this into I can help you. I am the leader that can guide you. Almost like that weird cult thing out of Grand Theft Auto 5, Kip Bond or whatever the hell it is. And yeah, they turn it into an interesting story. You don't know who's part of it, who's going to join next, but you clearly know who they want. They're targeting all the top talents and all the elites. I'm surprised they haven't targeted one of the women yet, to my knowledge. But anyway, I guess it's just more teasers to come, because they did say on commentary, hey, maybe it's a woman. But who could be so bizarre to actually lead the Dark Order that's a female? I would say Rosemary, but she's signed with Impact Wrestling. I just want to see Demon X Bunny back together, but that's a whole nother story. I've been a fan of Allie, Laura Dennis, Cherry Bomb since Smash Wrestling, in case you haven't figured it out. Love the character, respect her in-ring career and build. I just want her to get back in the ring. But anyway, going off the rails. I try to pick Reby. I just know, because that would be like Reby and Matt working together, being instead the Exalted One, not the Exalted Ones. I don't know.
And their child would be one of the leaders of the pack too.
Oh God!
All, their child has more victories than. There we go. Marco Stunt versus Matt Reba's son there. That little pinfall in Impact Wrestling. Oh my gosh, that was cringeworthy stuff at that time.
It was a different era, that's for sure. But yeah, as far as the Dark Order goes, we'll just have to wait and see. Again, it's wide open. I have no clue who it could be. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, folks. So then we go into our third match, and I was surprised they didn't close with this, but it wasn't as long as I thought it would be. But boy, was it a spot fest, as you would expect from a gimmick match, because it was. Falls count anywhere. And these three are no strangers to this style, especially considering two of them were heavily involved in Combat Zone Wrestling, ZCW, and literally Joey Janela and Penelope Ford, they faced each other before one-on-one. So this match I thought was literally going to be like a literal spot to build something else, because what happens as soon as Kip comes out? Karma. He gets low blown out of nowhere by Joey, and we almost get a flash pin. But that didn't happen, and this turned into a handicap match. As Ford is not just, a manager or a company or just standing at the ring. Lana. Basically, she came in a fight here, okay? Diving off the stage, crossbody, freaking hurricanrana, probably hurting her own elbow with that discus elbow that just hit the barricade. Joey Janela, he was not afraid to hit her either, just like Kenny Omega wasn't. And I love that match from the boat, by the way. And basically, this match really picked up after stiff thrown chair shot to the face. Hello! Words of Joey Styles. He tries to go for a running drop kick. He eats steel to his spine. And then we get the most bizarre running drop kick ever with someone's prosthetic leg. But then as we move towards the ring, there was some nasty bumps. Again, Joey Janela, he's reckless. He's a guy that does not care about his own health. He said he died once. He's willing to die again. He wants to die if that means he'll be remembered for his career. And that friggin' DDT in the half and half combination on the apron, and then the weird turnaround, almost neck breaker they called it, into the table. I thought he was done. Though, and that's another thing. I want this feud to end because I don't want the same thing to go on and on and on. Then you just have these guys, just stuck in gimmick matches. What are you gonna do next? Last man standing? But I felt like here, you kind of, shot yourself a little bit because, Kip Sabian, he was in the rankings, he was number 5. This is probably going to drop him out of it, and they were really building him up. But Joey Janela has been one of those that really has not had the strongest win-loss record, but has had phenomenal matches, mostly spot fest, in AEW, with the likes of Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega, just to name a couple. And he proved it here again after a weird setup ending where Penelope Ford gets thrown into Kip and a crossbody turns to Russian leg sweep, and they fall in between the tables, kind of. I am the table, as commentary put it. And that could have been really bad for both. No laughing intended. And then the hardest Kendall shot I remember seeing in a while gives George Janela the win. 1, 2, 3 on the outside of the ring. As was Falls Count Anywhere. So now George Janela, he got another win in a gimmick match. He's proving he can win in a standards match with a Macho Man elbow type drop. What's next for the guys? He finally going to, get his record on straight. And as far as Kip goes, where does he go from here? And does Kip and Ford stay a unit, or does Ford go into the women's division now and try to build herself up for the women's title? A lot of possibilities here, but overall, I thought it was a fun match, but I hope this feud is done. Gary, what's your takeaways from this?
To me, I do agree with you. I feel like this feud does need to end. It felt like a love story at first, which I'm glad they did not go that route.
Thank God.
Well, I know. We've seen enough of that crap.
Don't start it.
Yeah,
anyway, continue.
What does this mean for Kip Sabian now? I mean, he was on episodes of Dark for the last few weeks, and he just... I don't know. I mean, to me, this showed a lot of promise in a way for Kip Sabian more than Joey Janela. I know that sounds funny. But this actually made all three of these, all three of these wrestlers look good out there, Penelope Ford, she not only has the looks, but she reminds me so much of a Selena Vega in a way with Andrade. She's just a nudge, and she annoys the shit out of you. But at the same time, she's pretty good. And I do agree with the table spot with Penelope and Kip. Jeez. That's one thing I like about Dark. I mean, I feel like Dark is a great secondary show, in my opinion. And that's why I really stayed tuned with it. Plus, I like the Falls Count Anywhere rule. I mean, geez. Just this being a Dark match it was really, really good.
I feel like Dark using the gimmick matches more under the circumstance, the lights out, the Falls Count Anywhere. It shows more of the fun side of wrestling, but also a side that's more competitive and aggressive that goes beyond your standard wrestling match. And I feel like Dark is suited to show these and just not show them every week as they have paced these out. When it comes to Joey Janela, he needs some other different matches on Dark now besides, Falls Count Anywhere, no DQ, lights out, etc. Now you're over this feud with Kip. Time to go back to normal. Show me why you're more than a deathmatch wrestler like AEW tries to show all the flexibilities of their talent when it comes to their in-ring style. And as far as Kip goes, I mean, hey, he freaking made his first mark against Sammy Guevara back at a Double or Nothing, and I didn't think he was going to win that. So who knows where he goes from here. But overall, good match. Jordan Allen, good luck in the future. Which leads us then into the main event. By the way, I might add, the chairman's manager, coach, whatever you want to call him, one of the legendary Four Horsemen, Tully Blanchard, on the AEW roster website, he literally is listed as a coach.
Don't see.
So yeah.
I understand
that
kind of sports-centric Noah, but no. Just stop right there. I understand it's different, but I don't know.
It's hard to say. I mean, What are you gonna do? I just read the website. Anyway, it's one of those things. Like I said last week, when it comes to AEWDark, your main event is one of two things: a main event match you're gonna want to remember and maybe rewatch, or a main event match that's gonna be more fun and maybe more showcase telling. And I think once again, this match was more the fun showcase telling because who was Dustin and Appleman QT Marshall facing? The Librarian. And one of my church friends' favorite, shout out to Paul Mead, Norberto, a.k.a. Peter Avalon, the man with one of the best mustaches and robes in the business. And, of course, with Leva Bates, the Librarians. And his partner, of course, is Sean Spears, the chairman, who still seems to be bouncing between being this aggressive, dark, no-nonsense heel, but still kind of wants to fall back on the 10 gimmick, as we saw some of these here. With the crowd chanting 10. We're going to do it his vintage. Yeah, I just did that. Damn it. Sorry, damn you, Michael Cole. Got that stuck in my head. But he did his vintage cartwheel, about to do 10. Like, no. 2. I'm like, why 2? Why not 7 or 5? I'm like, or 4? What's a 2? But anyway, this match I thought was actually pretty darn fun. And again, Dustin, the reinvention and just the longevity of this incredible wrestler. I said when I met him live in Cleveland, I thank you and your fan for everything you've done for the wrestling business, through wrestling beyond WWE, for the NWA, for AEW, for South Midwest Wrestling, you, Cody, your father, rest in peace, Dusty Rhodes. And a showcase here, we had the bionic elbow spot, Dustin pulling out some incredible snap, scoop slams, and that code red. I did not see that coming. The versatility of him and what he's doing with his arsenal, it is something to behold. And he's not even listed as a coach; he's just a talent, and it proves here. And QT Marshall's been one of those that I've always been kind of on the fence about, but I did some more research about him. He's been wrestling really for a long time. There's documentaries out there about him, literally called The Wrestler, and he's been in the ring with a who's who of the business, including Daniel Bryan, Roderick Strong, Jay Lethal, through Impact, Ring of Honor, you name it, QT's actually been there. So he's not just really a coach and also supporting, I guess you could say, American Nightmare family member, as we've learned. He really is a pretty darn good wrestler that really is finding his place in AEW. But to this point, he had yet to get a win, and he finally got it. Once again, when Spears left, ironically around the 10-minute mark, his partner Peter Avalon after getting a blind tag. I guess Tully still hasn't figured out the appropriate partner yet. And basically a tag team combination move after copyright. A natural kick after Brandy Spears Leva allows a QT to get his first win, and QT, Dustin, and Brandy win. So here's the things I want to think about here. Brandy, she's probably going through now a character redevelopment. Maybe she's just going to be like, the counter to Leva when it comes to the librarians. But is she just going to be like with QT in matches? I don't know. And then Sean Spears, totally still trying to figure out his tag team partner, and I have no idea where that's going. And I still feel like that Sean Spears might even turn and finally go back to being face, because I don't know how much longer I can hold up this heel thing, because the crowd definitely is getting to him with the 10. And then you have Peter Avalon, who has yet to get a victory, as mentioned of being the elite in AEW, along with Brandon Cutler. But apparently he has one more loss in his record versus Brandon Cutler. So Gary, with that being said, one more thing. I could sense Brandy Rose versus Leva Bates being set up for AEWDark, and that might be an actually interesting match for those who have never faced each other one-on-one. And I'm very familiar with Leva Bates, of course. She's a cosplay, enthusiast. Been all over the independent scene, and we all remember Blue Pants from NXT. But with that being said, Gary, what's your takeaways from this match? When is Peter Avalon going to get a win? And who do you think should be Sean Spears' tag partner, if anyone?
If anyone, yeah. Well, I will say this about Peter Avalon. How fitting him to go 0-10 is again. Yeah. How bizarre is that? That actually cracks me up now. Just thinking about that, buddy. Peter Avalon, he's going to be like Kurt Hawkins, I mean.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, my gosh, they reset the records every year. So he's probably going to be 0-365 by the end of the year. No, sorry, 0-52. Forgot there's only 52 weeks in a year.
Correct.
Oh,
Lord.
Yeah, who knows with Peter Avalon? Before I talk about who the mystery guy could be with the Perfect 10, this match to me, I do agree. I feel like this was a little bit of a, to me, it was a little fun because, this gives something for Dustin to do before his match against Jake Hager this Saturday. And, and what better way of getting, technically, Dark is after, if I'm right, Noah, after Dynamite.
Correct.
Okay, so how fitting is that, the two Rhodes brothers being in the main event, technically? If you think about it. So, main event Dark, main event Dynamite. I thought it was cool. And I like how Dustin really wants to show that the young talent is really meant to be, even if it is Peter Avalon. So kudos for Dustin for that. QT Marshall, though, I will say about him, that one match that he had, I believe it was a tag match against Cody a few weeks ago. I thought QT Marshall did really good in that match. The guy has promise. So again, with his You might have to help me out here, Noah. The injury that he got before he stepped back in the ring.
Yeah, he discussed on undesirable to undeniable. Yeah, he was out for a while. I think it was like a torn ACL. I might be wrong though. Apologies, folks.
Either way, it's cool to see Judy Marshall still could show some really good stuff in the ring. Now let's talk about the Perfect 10. Could you be right, Noah? Could he actually go to that gimmick? Does AEW have the rights for that? If they do, use it, because that's what got him so over. And I did hear that as well with the AEW crowd tonight as well when I was watching it of Dark. So if not, who is going to be his tag match? Your tag team partner. You're right. Who is that going to be? I expected someone to be a second generation superstar. If you think about it, because Tully Blanchard has some of that history, who knows what he could find for Sean Spears. I mean, I know that's a shot in the dark. Again, no pun intended. But I don't know. It's really tough to say. But like you said, could he go back to face? Only time will tell.
I mean, you saw during that near fall after the inadvertent ref distraction with Eva reading a book. I have no idea what that book was, by the way. But anyway, she got the inadvertent distraction, and then Sean Spears pulls off a crazy crossbody off the top rope and nearly gets the fall on Dustin, and he's just arguing with the ref. 3, 3, 3, and the crowd's just chanting 10.
10, yeah, that was cool.
I'm just like I said, I feel like there's gotta be a turn coming because 10's always gonna be associated with Sean Spears. You might as well roll with it at some point, dude, because I feel like it's only gonna help you in the long run. And then of course he's got these different shirts now. Nothing personal after he got rid of that shirt about garbage wrestling, so maybe he's gonna rely on that. I don't know. Sean Spears is in a unique place right now with Tully as his manager, coach, whatever you want to call it, etc. It's a very unique dynamic between these two, but I'm curious to see where Sean Spears go to next. And they did call back to the history about how how Sean Spears brained Cody with that steel chair, and that kind of reflected in this match after Spears and Dustin met up, where he even teased Goldust and then got punched in the mouth for it. So he's definitely got the heel still within his character, but I just wonder how much longer he could roll with this. Because unless you find a partner, you're just kind of like missing out, dude. And even if you walk away, that's still a loss in your record. Wins and losses matter. And all 4 of these wins and losses matter here. Speaking of which, that was AEWDark, another fun hour. Let's go ahead and briefly talk about the rankings while we still have time, because I look at the matches tonight and I think about, can any of these really impact the Dark Order? They got another win, so they're going to go 3-0 now. The current number 2 is SCU, who's 2-2, but they just are coming off not only a loss in the Tag Team Battle Royale, but they also came off a loss from the title picture. I can see them moving down. I'm just going to briefly highlight my thoughts on what I see the rankings might become and what I look at the rankings, but not going to give you all top 5 for each 3. I leave that to Jen Decker, and I like to keep it simple. Because you basically know right now the outlooks of the rankings, okay? Riho, she's still number 1 because she still has one of the strongest win-loss records in AEW, even though she's not champion. But this place does not do automatic rematch clauses. Hence why the next up-and-comer below her, Chris Statlander, was officially declared by AEW to challenge for Nia Rose for the title this Saturday. Super excited about that. And then you have the men's ranking that's so wide open right now. Of course, Jon Moxley leading it with a 5-0 record. Will face LaChampion this Saturday. And then you have Cody, Pac, and Omega all behind that. But with Pac and Omega coming up in this Iron Man match, you obviously got to see those two shift. I can see one of these men drop out of the rankings after this. With MJF being the number 5 spot, his win on Saturday will be pinnacle in him staying in the ranks and proving why he's still better than you, and you know it. And then, of course, the tag team is the most dynamic here, as we, of course, have the Elite and the Young Bucks facing the champions. And the Elite, of course, they are the number 1 seed. But right below them is SCU. Now Dark Order might be. So, again, it's one of those interesting dynamics where I look at these matches on Dark and what's coming up tomorrow. Things could really change here. But do I see anything significant? I don't know yet. With that being said, Gary, you've seen the rankings, and these are the only rankings I follow in sports, period, folks. What's your thoughts on the rankings outlook so far, and what sort of changes could you see happening as early as tomorrow?
Yeah, one of the things that I'm going to point out really quick, I am surprised Sammy Guevara is not in the top 5. I believe
Correct.
Sammy is, I think he's like 5-2 right now. I could be wrong, but for what I understand, he's only like, no, him or MJF. I'm surprised MJF is not in the top 5. He's only lost one match all year.
Yeah, he's at the bottom spot, but at least he's on the list. He bumped off Kip Sabian, who, if you remember, he was on the list last week.
True, very true. So I will go, division by division. Number 1, yeah, I do agree with you. Chris Statlander, she is a very well-deserving number 1 contender. I cannot say nothing negative about Statlander. I mean, she's just, to me, Aaron says it best. I want to see the Area 51 stuff. I really do. At least she's got a character, and it's not like, let's say somebody that just has her father's name to give her title reigns. Oops.
Oh.
Ouch. Sorry.
Pipe bomb.
Sorry.
We have fun here. But it's true. You're not wrong. I digress. Continue.
So, yeah, definitely Statlander's really deserving in there. I'm hoping as the division grows over the year, I really would like to see, honestly, Bea Priestley up in there. I really like Priestley. Had that right when she signed. Yep. But, yeah, not much to say about the women's division. Everything in their top 5 is perfect. It's well placed. The tag team division now, I definitely see SCU dropping big time, especially with their rivalry going on with the Dark Order. So, it's really a tough call. But again, I've gotten messages on, Pro Wrestling Reports saying the Young Bucks don't deserve this, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You guys got to remember, this is a team that's really paid their dues. And not only that, they really put over people like the Private Party. They're putting over that young talent. Now, should they win the tag titles on Saturday? If I was a part of predictions, this would be my toughest match to predict from. I will make a prediction here right now. I do see a heel turn, but I see it with Kenny Omega. I think there's going to be a swerve because Adam Hangman Page is so over with the crowd right now. I know, Noah, you're probably thinking, what in the hell is he thinking? But
no, I'll give you my thoughts when you're done talking. Continue.
I miss the cleaner. That's probably one thing I do miss about Kenny. But besides them, besides the Dark Order, SCU, who is the next well-deserving tag team to eventually step in that top 5?
That is the question.
What about you answer that, Noah, before I talk about the world, like the men's world title division?
Well, without looking at the rankings, because like I said, literally in hours they're going to change. And you think about, we pretty much saw all the teams in that battle royale. Lucha Brothers, they've been one of my favorites, but they just lost again a tag team opportunity. I don't see them in the top 5. If I have to figure out who else is involved in the top 5, I got to go with these two teams right now. They're still tremendously over, and even though Marco Stunt, he does eat falls a lot, especially in trios matches, you cannot argue with Jurassic Express, especially the duel of Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy, of course, had the rocket strapped on him when he literally went toe-to-toe with La Champion and survived for 10 minutes, even though Jericho said, I want 5 more minutes. Never got it. And Luchasaurus has yet to have a singles match in AEW, but has really been that foundation for Jurassic Express as a whole. And then, come on, you gotta look at this, okay? He hasn't had a match, but he somehow has been the difference maker for their matches. But crowd appeal or involvement, I gotta say the best friends. Chuck and Trent have been an incredible duo. They have picked up a lot of victories, recently coming off a 6-man tag, I might add, against Jack Evans and Angelico. And these guys right now, they are hugely over too. So I have to round out my bottom probably with the best friends in Jurassic Express. And then, of course, above that, I'm thinking Proud and Powerful. Because Proud and Powerful, they still have a pretty good record and a win, I might add, over the Young Bucks back in full gear. Inner Circle right now is very strong on all of its fronts, and who knows where Hager is going to go after this Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, give the people what they want. I do agree with you. No, well said, man. I do. I mean, I am growing on the best friends. Like, literally, this is not because I have a faith with Christ and love for Christ for hugging people. Now, when I picture hugging my friends, I'm thinking, yep, there's Orange Cassidy in the middle. Thanks a lot, AEW. No. It's just, yeah, I think it's just because, there's just so much promise with everything with the best friends. You said it best, Noah. They're so over, probably one of the most over tag teams right now.
Yeah.
You said it right on the button, buddy. So, who knows? I mean, when they said that, when the Young Bucks said at the conference for Double or Nothing last year, when they promised to get the best tag teams in the world, you don't need a tag team like, to me, this team's a joke. What is it? The Monday Night Messiah. You don't need Heavy Machinery, or you don't need these really, really good tag teams in the world. You just need to creatively make them good. And this is what AEW is doing. They're really making these tag teams look so good.
And they each have their own identity.
Yeah. And that's what I'm loving about it. I mean, gosh, man, you already got the shades for Orange Cassidy, for crying out loud.
I don't have a jean button-down shirt or white T-shirt or Orange Cassidy shirt, so don't think I'm turning freshly squeezed anytime soon. But I digress. That fan behind me, though, she nailed the Orange Cassidy. Shout out to her. Cleveland was so much fun. But I digress. Okay, so what are your thoughts on the men's division, though? How do you see that shaking up? Because, again, right now in the top 5, you literally have everybody in it that has a match between tomorrow and Saturday.
Yeah. That's tough, man. Again, this is one thing about the rankings, what I love. The no rematch clauses. Who is next in line? If Moxley loses, who's next in line?
You know it's not Cody.
Cody, I don't know. I mean, much as Cody is so over right now, I mean, of course I see Cody really winning the world title. I mean, no doubt about it. He's going to win the world title someday. But, Jericho's about to go on tour for Fozzy, so I would be shocked if Jericho does win this weekend, to be honest, because I think his Fozzy tour, if my memory serves me right, is in April. So
you're correct. April for May.
Yeah, so what does this mean? I mean, is Moxley going to really hold the title? Is he really going to win it? If he does, I definitely see an increase in the ratings for AEW for sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's just, if I had to be a part of the predictions league, I would go with Moxley because, I mean, come on. This guy's so over right now. This is what I'm loving about AEW. They want to choose who they want. It's kind of like NXT. The fans choose who they want to like. And I don't think I hate one superstar, wrestler in AEW, except probably, I don't know. I mean, dude, I even like Peter Avalon because I think a whole little librarian by his side has some good appeal.
Oh yeah, Diva's definitely the opposite. I love Diva Bates.
So it's really tough to say, but I will get my thoughts more on who I like, Noah, because I've been wanting to tell you this since we were going to go live on tonight. I'm going to invite my friend's Paige, which is a part of the AEW Predictions group, and my friend Judy, which is her mother. We're going to see AEW Dynamite at the Agganis Arena. So
nice.
Finally, I get to see Dynamite. I've been wanting to ask you all damn day, Noah. How was that experience? I'm sure it was awesome for what you showed me with the videos and all. What should I expect?
The outside. at the stage. I was at the stage. I was at the power. I freaking loved it. Oh my gosh, it was so freaking engaging and hot too. But everything about that place, the energy, the excitement, the action, the crowd interaction, the post send off from the elite after Dark went off the air, and just the setup in general, and even the lively atmosphere before the show started, where it's not just quiet and you hear woo once in a while, but they had like music, so it was definitely, hyping up the place. Everything about it was absolutely wonderful, and I cannot wait to freaking do it again. You're probably going to start with a dark match, and then you're going to get like AEW shop hype. Then the show's going to start. You're going to see the pyro. Good lord, that pyro and that fire was hot, and those young buck cannons. And I got a few bucks. And then you're going to see Dynamite. You're going to get the hype up for Dynamite. And next week, Justin Roberts, fully engaging, very welcoming to the audience. Then post, you're going to see more dark matches. And then the Elite are going to come out. They're going to tease, hey, should we come back here? We should do a pay-per-view here. Let's give away some gear. The merch freak might show up. And then you're going to get like a nice little send-off and thank you. Everything about the experience, man. It is so much fun. And I'll say right now, I've been to Raw, I've been to SmackDown, I've been to Dynamite, and I've been to NXT. When I look at all four of those live experiences, I've been to Ring of Honor too. When I look at all five of those different wrestling experiences, right now, I gotta say, AEW is my number one.
That sounds like a really good experience, man. And I was always thinking, oh my gosh, when are they gonna be nearby? I purchased the tickets for the Rochester show for March 18th, and I was like thinking, oh, that's going to be a 5-hour drive. Is it going to be worth it? Which I'm sure it will be. And then next thing you know, I canceled my order from Ticketmaster, and they were actually nice enough to give me a refund. So I put that towards for the Agganis Arena, which Boston from me is only like 2 hours and 20 minutes. So that's more of a well-deserving choice.
Yeah, I believe it was like 2 hours for me. So yeah. And again, you'll love it. And you know the talent. And trust me, as soon as Orange Cassidy comes out, that's the loudest that place is going to get.
Unbelievable. It's just a very unique character that diehard wrestling fans know. Obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what builds a character, man. So.
Oh my God. But anyway, yeah. So we talked about the rankings, we talked about Dark, we talked about our insights so far to the town of the roster. Let's go ahead and look at this week's Dynamite, which is now the go home to AEW Revolution. We so far know, and again, this is the beauty of Dynamite. Pretty darn good and worth watching. Now, I expect a women's match for sure. So we got two 6-man tag matches between the Inner Circle of Santana Ortiz, Proud and Powerful, and the Spanish guy, Sammy Guevara, versus who is it? I believe it's the Jurassic Express. Yes, Marco Stunt, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy. And the other tag match, BBB, the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny, yay, Allie, versus the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy with them. And then, of course, we have the weigh-in. Now, before we talk about these matches, I want to talk about the weigh-in, because already people are like, you want to make it sports-oriented, why not do the contract signing again? Sometimes it's nice for a change-up. Who wants to see a contract signing every time a big championship match is going to happen? And I'll give AEW credit. When the significant AEW championship matches happen, they make them seem big. They do a showcase. Have you not seen the MMA? Have you not seen UFC? Do you know that you do weigh-ins too? Do some freaking research, man. I don't even watch sports. # non-sports, and I know that. I'm very curious what this weigh-in is going to involve because first off, you do not need to be a bodybuilder or have a model's body to be a professional wrestler. And Chris Jericho is living proof of that as he's been body shamed because the dude's like 50 years old and maybe he does partake too much of a little bit of the bubbly, but the dude still goes. And then Jon Moxley, dude freaking is reckless, but he's chiseled. I'll give him credit, all right? I saw his match with Minoru Suzuki, still loved it. And I've seen what the man can do, and he's very driven by wrestling. You heard on the freaking podcast, I believe it was Unrestricted, how Jon Moxley talked about himself getting into wrestling and, how it was stopped for a while, etc. Great listen, by the way. I love that. So with that being said, Gary, what do you expect to come out of this weigh-in? Do you expect a beat down, just trash talking? Obviously, we know who's going to have the better weight. What are your thoughts on this weigh-in?
Well, I agree with you 100%, man. I really like the fact that we're getting, again, something different. First, we want to get away from those contract sightings. Aaron says it best. He's bored of them. I mean, we saw another one Raw, right?
He dropped the letter grade from Monday Night Raw down a whole letter grade because there was another one.
I don't blame Aaron. Jeez, which by the way, my Raw rating was a C minus. Yeah, maybe a D plus, pretty close. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the weigh-in to me, this should be very intriguing. Do I expect a beatdown? That's tough to say because who's the one that really wants to look like the best going into Saturday? Moxley's already been attacked at all angles here the last few weeks. It's time for Moxley to beat their ass down.
And he's got one eye too.
Captain Jack Morgan. Yeah.
I was gonna say Snake from Metal Gear Solid, but yeah, let's go with that.
I'm not a drinker and I say that. Okay. But
I'm straight edge.
I do agree with you with that weigh-in, man. It's just, just for example, yeah, there was a contract signing with Cody and Jericho, a few months ago. That delivered really good. This weigh-in, again, it's different. They're not going with, the other promotions, stuff. And people's going to look at it this way. Like you said, Noah, again, this is why you're the best of the best, man, when it comes to facts. Because
I tried.
Yeah, we already know that Jericho's going to be the one that's more bubbly. But again, it just, I would like for it to just be those two, no interferences. They do their way in, they say what they're going to say. Jericho's just showing Moxley the belt right to his face, and then they just sign off for the night. That is one thing I would like to see. Basically what I'm getting at, it's kind of like the UFC boxing feel. How they sign off their little weigh-ins. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm, they almost got into each other's throats, but that's just, the drive of competition being the best. Right. And I can see that here because Jon Moxley, there's no hint. He's a hothead. But again, you got the match on Saturday. You can tear Jericho apart then and maybe become the champion. But I'll say my prediction for that come after Revolution and Countdown. And keep in mind, there is a countdown special after AEW Dynamite tomorrow night that will be the final real go-home hype towards telling the stories of some of the biggest matches on this card. And again, we have 3 title matches and 2 showcase matches. That's a 5-match card. That is NXT TakeOver type booking per se for a pay-per-view. Will they add another one? I don't know. Maybe they could do like a women's showcase match. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that, but we'll see. With that being said, though, let's go ahead and talk about the actual matches we do know this week for AEW Dynamite. Because once again, they're focusing on tag division and feud building here. We're also maybe seeing something towards what you're talking about. Because I'm going to save that one for last. Let's first talk about the first 6-man tag. The Inner Circle, Proud and Powerful, Santana Ortiz, and the Spanish guy, Sammy Guevara, who, it's official, he was booked. I called it. He is facing Darby Allin this Saturday. And that match, I truly don't know who's going to win that. Versus Jurassic Express, of course, the team of Marco Stunt, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus, who I believe has yet to eat a pinfall or a submission. Keep that in mind. But again, they always control that guy, so they play it into their favor. So here's the thing. Proud and Powerful, they are not booked for a match this Saturday. Neither is Jurassic Express. But they were both involved in that tag team battle royal. And Luchasaurus, he kicked the head off Proud and Powerful. And then you have Sammy Guevara, who's already got to worry about Darby Allin this Saturday. Will any mind games occur, or will Darby get in Sammy's head during this match? And then you have the one guy that people think, oh, he's in the match, he's going to eat the fall, the team's going to lose, in Marco Stunt, who, again, has been used as a human weapon and does show great tenacity in the ring, and the crowd does get behind him. With that being said, I am going to say this. It's hard to go against Luchasaurus because the guy does not freaking eat balls and has still been showcased very strongly. But then I think about Proud and Powerful and the Inner Circle and how strong the Inner Circle has been showcased as well. So, with that being said, I feel like here Luchasaurus is actually going to get the win for his team, even though usually it's Jungle Boy or Marco Stunt, with Marco Stunt being assisted by Jungle Boy. Because those two, it's almost like a father-son thing with them there. They work very well as a duo. I believe they even have one victory as a duo. But with that being said, I'm going to keep it simple and say that the team of Jurassic Express gets the win here. Gary, what's your thoughts on this match?
I'm pretty excited for it. I'm totally behind, Jurassic Express, every time when they're out there, for sure. Yeah, I know, like you said, Marco Stunt's there for a charade for Sammy Guevara, something to do for him to save up his match, against Darby. One thing I like about AEW in a way, there's really never an interference. It's very rare that we see an interference with a rival. Very interesting, which, I do like. But I do see Darby costing them the match in a way as well, because it's hyping their match. Darby and Sammy.
But also Hager can get involved. He's been the one guy, going back to your point though, Hager has been the one guy that has caused interruption and sometimes has helped the Inner Circle with a win, including Le Champion. So going off your point, they don't do it much, but when it comes to the Inner Circle, always figure out Jake Hager.
Well, if Jake Hager try to interfere, I definitely see Dustin coming out.
Definitely. There's our match hype to you too. Just thinking.
So, yeah, this is again, I really like their tag teams. I really, 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 really do. So, yeah. So,
all right.
Very excited about that.
Yeah, fair enough. And keep in mind, folks, Gary here, he's the leader of this Wrestling Predictions League that I'm a part of in the Elite Wing. I like how you kind of like classified us. I'm the Elite. And he's not going to really necessarily give you a prediction, but he's going to give you his insight. Because, again, he's about the fans of AEW. He's not about himself. Same with me. I'm just a guy that's about wrestling. It's not about me, it's about wrestling. So don't look at me on this channel for me. Look at the content. Simple as that. But that being said, let's talk about the other match. There's another 6-man tag match that's happening, as we alluded to before. But again, you have to worry about the number one weapon, I feel like, in this match. Now he might have something to go against in the most odd way possible. BB&B. Allie, Butcher, and the Blade versus the Best Friends with Orange Cassidy. Now, you know how high I am on Allie, but I also know how high AEW is on Orange Cassidy. And with that being said, Butcher and Blade have been showcased pretty strong as a tag team, but also as hired muscle for MJF. They've been against Cody, they've been against the Elite, and the Butcher, he is a powerhouse, extremely impressive. And of course, I'm familiar with Braxton Sutter, who is also Allie's husband, because they're all the way back from Impact Wrestling and even beyond that in Smash Wrestling. With that being said, who do I see winning this match? I really think about BBB trying to get built here. And the Best Friends, they need a new feud since their last big feud, it was really against the Lucha Brothers when Trent was getting so much momentum, beating them. It was singles matches. This is a new feud, and it finally involves Orange Cassidy a little more to a degree, somebody that can actually go up against him without actually facing him in the ring, which is really the way they've been using Orange Cassidy. I mean, Cody even said, when's Orange Cassidy going to break out? He's just waiting for it. You got to find the right match. And obviously, I don't see him doing a gender match, but I would not mind seeing Ali versus Orange Cassidy. With that being said, those two are definitely going to clash outside the ring. And as far as my pick for this match, I'm going to go with a wild surprise here and say that BBB wins here. And I think the Butcher is going to pin Chucky. Because usually the Best Friends, when they lose, Chucky's the one that eats the fall. With that being said, Gary, what's your thoughts so far on BBB? We already talked about how Best Friends, they're over, stuff like that. And Orange Cassidy, ever since they came together as a trio, it's been one of the hottest things going to AEW. And ever since Allie basically went through this metamorphosis with her Dark Bunny and brought in BB, Butcher, and Blade, they pretty much have been a very strong duo, I think, on both fronts. And, of course, the Butcher's the power. And, the more technically sounding wrestler is the Blade. What's your thoughts on this match?
One of the things that I'm liking about this, about Butcher and Blade, to be honest with you, I feel like they're going to be a good tag team for months down the road. I really do. Who was it? I think it was Butcher last week. It was like in the Final Four?
That's correct.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can't let the big guys like me confuse you. You know, you really can't. And, you know, just, sorry, somebody just tried calling me. There we go.
That's all right. It happens.
So, yeah.
Bosh.
Of course, Allie's going to give that appeal. And like you said, you know, with Orange Cassidy and her, what does this mean with these two? Who knows? But, you know, Blade, you know, he had a really good, I think he got the pinfall in there. Yeah, I think.
He did in that one match. You are correct. With the 8-man tag, you are absolutely correct.
And to me, that's what really made me think, wow, BNB is something, you know. They're really making their tag team division something good. So with this, I'm going to make my prediction for it anyway.
Okay.
I definitely see Blade getting the pinfall for this on Chucky T, of course, because to me, again, he's kind of like a Peter Avalon type guy. He can't really get one over. Trent is the one that's the second most over out of the team, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, again, like I said earlier, give the people what they want. So.
Oh, yeah, we'll get the hug, and Allie's going to try and stop it.
It's really tough to say what's going to happen with BNB, but I like where they're going with them as their tag matches for sure.
Yeah, and a trio. And again, these guys are best friends, too. I see it all the time on the Instagram. And again, Allie and Braxton Sutter, it's literally a husband-wife thing. I'm just waiting for Masters of the Multiverse to return to Allie's World YouTube channel. But that's another story. And yeah, my bad. It wasn't the 8-man tag. It was a 6-man tag. Because again, BNB, they have picked up a win. And they are pretty impressive. I think it was actually when QT was first tagging with Cody. Yeah, it was that match. Anyway, all right, so you picked the Blade, I picked the Butcher, but we're on the same page with that. Which leads us to the only other match we know at this point. The reason I'm wearing this. It's been a freaking long-standing feud since their first impromptu setup match at All Out. And then Kenny Omega, he got a victory over the bastard Pac later on during a Dynamite. Now it all comes to hand in this rubbers match, but it's a 30-minute Iron Man match. And we know how far Kenny Omega can go. Hence the 60-minute classic at freaking Dominion Plus. That was also, I might add, 2 out of 3 falls. It wasn't an Iron Man match, but it might as well have been. And honestly, I can see the same number of falls happening here. You saw being the Elite. You saw Kenny Omega. He was rehabbing his shoulder. He had the cup. He's going to have cup spots on his arm. If Pac locks him in that freaking Blue Lighter submission hold, that's an easy first win right there. But I also think about what you were saying earlier about a potential heel turn this Saturday, but not who people might be thinking of. You're right. We have not seen really Bullet Club Omega, per se, since Bullet Club. But he also talks about how he likes doing that step back, okay? He likes leading the next generation of wrestlers. And that's really the reason why he's in AEW, along with the fact he's with his friends. But then you got this dynamic of Paige and Omega, where Paige still kind of undefined, but shows some emotional subtleties on being the Elite this past Monday. And then you have the bastard Pac who just straight up wants to brutalize you. And we don't know what's next for this guy. It was undetermined whether or not he was even going to be involved in AEW after that whole match thing that happened that Wrestle Talk saw live. Luke's face. Oh! When they freaking saw Pac and Paige at that independent show in the UK. And by the way, I can't wait to see AEW in the first UK show. With that being said, though, this is hard to call because obviously 30 minutes, I don't see them doing in overtime. This is going to be within the TV time. I can see this closing the show. But I feel like right now, with his direction, with this whole other storyline being told, because again, Omega, he's got to work a freaking match this Saturday. He's not going to be 100%. I feel like Pac's got to win this, though. And I'm just going to say that Pac beats Omega 2-1, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Paige come out, try to back up Omega, and the Bucks come out, and you get more of that subtle hostility being in the Elite. Maybe it, like, breaking down, per se, leading towards maybe a potential heel turn happening this Saturday, because, again, I'll get my predictions on that after Countdown tomorrow. But I feel like right now Pac needs this win. I'm going to say Pac wins this match 2-1. What are your thoughts right now on the bastard Pac in general and this Iron Man match? First Iron Man match, I might add, in AEW history.
2 weeks in a row, we see something different with AEW. With two history makers for 2 weeks in a row. Very cool. Very good booking. honestly, very good booking because, makes you intrigued. Now, I don't see this closing the show. I really don't. I see this definitely the beginning of the show. That's something that I really do see. Because if they go over, kind of like the Moxley and Pac thing, that would not go well with a tie.
Fair point. I remember that Paul Turner got
I'm going to say it. I think, Kenny needs to win this match in a way because this is showing that, okay, if he can beat Pac, he's going to, he's basically a credible champion. He's a credible guy on the roster. Same thing with Pac. This is a guy that has not won in a while ever since he came in AEW really hot.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks because I really want both to win. I really do.
Who's
the one that deserves it more, though? The one that really deserves it more, though, in my opinion, is the Bastard because, he needs to get back in that win-loss column. So, in the rankings.
Yeah.
So, this match is going to be, it's going to be really good. I mean, NXT, they're really going to put their guns on full,
Always.
They're going to put their guns right on the freaking trigger and go forward with that really good firepower tomorrow with Charlotte and Bianca. So, what better way of, AEW countering, which in a way, sorry, somebody try calling me again.
I just want do not disturb mode on. That's it.
Yeah, now on it, we'll do that. Yeah, I mean, it's really tough to say. If I'm going to just say a final score, though, I'm going to go with Charlotte's final score for tomorrow night. I'm going to guess 3-2. But I won't say who, because then I will be giving out Charlotte's predictions. Can't do that.
Right.
Somebody's
going to also not to say, just try to influence the league. Be like, well, Gary actually gave some thoughts. Maybe I should go with Gary. Hey, guys, this is not some way for you to cheat to try and beat me in the league. This is just an honest conversation. But with that being said, this is definitely going to be like adding to the match on Saturday. And let me just say this right now, folks, as we are about to conclude here, because that's all we know at this point. This forum is simply two wrestling fans of all sorts of wrestling, as AEW and NXT are both founded on a passion for professional wrestling beyond your standard sports entertainment. And also a love for the simple scene, the independent scene, where really both these companies thrived and started. And with that being said, I am going to say this. I look at Wednesday night as Wednesday night wrestling, not a Wednesday night war, because I love both. I enjoy both. I'm passionate about both. I have friends that discuss both. And I decided to start this forum myself because I want to learn and connect more with people on AEW because I don't know as much about AEW as I know about NXT. And that's why I truly believe AEW is truly, like they said, all elite wrestling. Because it truly does show you a new dynamic, a different perspective. They surprise you. They organically, consume you to figure out, oh, this person seems pretty interesting. Maybe I should follow this person. Oh, who's next? Who's going to debut? What's going to happen next? AEW keeps surprising me every week. And that's one of the reasons why I love it so much. But the bottom line is this. Wednesday is still my favorite day of the week for wrestling. Simple as that. Now, before we conclude, I will say one more thing. Britt Baker, the chemistry her and Tony Schiavone have is freaking hilarious. This callback to being a barista at Starbucks. There's no doubt in my Britt Baker she's going to be delivering a promo or on commentary tomorrow night for a women's match. Now, when I think about the women's match, I think about this. AEW's got a deep, depth women's division. And you got to figure out now who can get in the top 5. Big Swole trying to make a statement against the champion yesterday. Are they going to put Nyla Rose in just a warm-up match, you would say, against Big Swole? Kicked her head off last time they were in the ring, I might add. But Nyla Rose won. Or is Nyla Rose going to face someone new and try to work her way in the rankings? Because she's not even in the rankings yet. And there's another one we haven't talked about, and that's actually one of my favorites, Hikaru Shida. As she is right now number 3 in a 2-1 record. She's wrestled 11 matches for this women's division. And yes, Britt Baker has wrestled the most with 14. She was the first signee. I feel like another ultimate women's feud being set up here down the line. It's probably Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker because I don't know right now where Riho stands. And right now, Riho, nothing's been said about her at all, and she has not shown up. She might be doing some stuff in Joshi Pro Wrestling. And that's the thing about AEW and its women's division. A lot of Japanese Joshi Pro influence, they're not there every week as they have other obligations. Hence why we don't see people like Rhea Priestley every week, who I believe her last match was a loss against Britt Baker at Full Gear. I'm pretty sure she had another match before that, but I can't think of it. So it's one of those things when I look at the women's division, they're still trying to figure it out. But I honestly don't know where it can go from here or what match I want to see next. All I know right now is I'm hugely supportive of the new heel Britt Baker. I like Hikaru Shida. I like Shauna. I like Chris Statlander. And Big Swole, she definitely has a lot of potential. But with that being said, Gary, before I conclude here, is there any further thoughts you have on what might potentially be showcased from the women's division tomorrow night, as we know nothing?
Oh, man. You know, the only thing I really expect is probably just Nyla Rose coming out for one more promo, you know, hyping up for her match against Statlander for sure. Maybe Britt Baker will come out and just do her shtick again with Tony. I will say this. Heel Britt Baker is pure gold. This is, I think, what they should have done all along, was a heel Britt Baker. And
I agree.
Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's an okay wrestler, but she's a smart talker.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely gets it from to me, one of my favorite NXT champions in history. Okay. I'm a big fan of Adam, so. Which, yeah. That's a whole different story. I was about to say, who is he going to lose the title against at TakeOver Tampa, which I definitely know he'll lose it at TakeOver Tampa.
Spoiler alert! Apparently by Gary. We'll see. It's the biggest week of the year, but hey, we'll talk more about that together when that time comes. So,
yeah.
But, yeah. And by the way, Britt Baker channeling her career for a heel character, I mean, again, AEW, they're really kind of more unscripted per se, so it's like you sink or swim or you try and error yourself at first. That promo on the boat was bad. But then she really picked it up the following week on Dynamite and made it her own. And she really is carrying her heel character. I love it.
I do too, man. I mean, I really do too. So, but like you said for the other women, though, you know, Big Swole, she's really coming into place. You know, She really is. And again, you know, this is what I'm like about AEW. They get to be their own character. They don't need to be, for what I read recently, Rhea Ripley can't have tattoos because WWE doesn't want her to have tattoos. You know, that's for something that I've read.
Freedom of expression is something that goes against McMahonism. Oh, sorry, folks. Going off in the weeds again. Again, we talk about wrestling. We may talk about All Elite Wrestling at the forefront, but you best believe it's not the only thing we watch. And we do have criticism about everything else, too.
I was going to say, man, I watch everything. I mean, I'm slowly getting hooked to NWA Power, thanks to Chris. And, you know, I'm really a sucker for the karate gimmick for, forgive me, what's his name? Aaron Stevens.
So, I thought you were going to talk about the question mark. But, yes, and by the way, it's not karate, it's karate. You have to say it right, just like I'm going to keep telling Aaron Stevens to say it right.
So, you know, something like that, man. I mean, it's cool to be a wrestling fan. It really is. And
exactly.
You know, I may praise AEW more than anything on my Pro Wrestling Report page, you know. And I'm not being biased, man. I mean, I have people harass me saying, "Oh, you're this and you're that." I'm like, okay.
Everybody has their favorites. Not everybody has to agree on everything, people. That's what's called individuality.
Right. Exactly, man. And I just, if I had to pick a favorite, I love them all. WWE, not so much. NXT, AEW, NWA, Ring of Honor, slowly hanging in there, but Impact Wrestling to me as well. They're really growing better. I really liked as world champion. I like the fact that Ace Austin and Tessa's going at it next Tuesday. That should be very intriguing. I like seeing RVD on there. You know, just Impact Wrestling is just doing good overall, but a little too late. So
Katie Forbes needs a twerk less, though. Twerking died when Miley Cyrus did with Robin Thicke on Blurred Lines, okay? Good grief. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm just saying. But yeah, and in closing, folks, like I said, we are just simply wrestling fans, and this is just a forum where we primarily discuss the faults, the strengths, the potential, and what we might want to see or expect from all elite wrestling. We hope you enjoyed. With that being said, Gary, thank you so much. This was an extremely pleasurable, fun, and definitely extended long conversation. I loved it. And people with their short-term attention span focuses, YouTube Red exists. You can watch this without watching us on screen. Again, listen to the content. Don't look at the faces. We're nothing but simple wrestling fans just like you. But with that being said, Gary, this is an extreme pleasure. Would love to do it again with you down the line. I'm going to try and diversify this up if I can with other wrestling fans galore. But is there anything you want to plug, support, or and where can people find you?
Yeah, one of the things I like to plug is if anybody out there wants to not focus, but really wants to keep updated with some wrestling, definitely if you like, go on my wrestling page, Pro Wrestling Report, but you could search it under Wrestling Discussions because I've not figured out how to name change the wrestling page on Facebook yet. But definitely that. If anybody out there is a fan of AEW, you can join the AEW Predictions League, but that would have to wait until Double or Nothing, of course. Yeah, not much to say, man. One more plug that I like to... Actually, there's going to be one more plug that I want to say. Definitely go to the Facebook page, WrestleManiacs, which is my good buddy Sean's Facebook page. Definitely good stuff. You can, basically he shares, old matches and stuff. Really good content. I enjoy it. So, good stuff.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with watching a classic from any company. I do it all the time with NJPW and WWE. Just saying. I mean, there's YouTube channels dedicated to that, like WX, I can't remember the name of the channel, but I think they know who they are. But with that being said, thank you so much, Gary. This was extremely fun. And for those of you who want to know more about other wrestling content through personality like me, I just simply tell people this. You want to know more about me? Know this. I'm just a simple man. And if you haven't figured it out by now, I am a lifelong fan of wrestling. So if you want to follow me and talk anything wrestling, the 5 brands of WWE or NWA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, my number one. See, we all have our favorites, folks. It's like ice cream. Ring of Honor, Impact, AEW, Stardom, the list goes on and on and on. Pro Wrestling Noah, etc. Then look me up on Twitter, NoDQ.com/Noah, chasing my Twitter page, or follow me on Instagram, #SupermanInLife, @Imposter9016. I'll give you a nice hello, brief thoughts, retrospectives in wrestling and news and outtakes, and just, a simple moment to brighten up your day. Or, who knows, give you a laugh or make you feel something nice. I don't do, Bloom the Game. Anyway, yeah, and for those that hate URLs, it's also the same thing on Twitter, @Imposter1916. Or follow the simple YouTube channel here at youtube.com/user/NoahFoster210. You'll find new content here every week. At the heart of it, my weekly series, #ToolFileThatMatters, that focuses on cruiserweight wrestling and the Toolfile Live brand. And now that's pretty much becoming a new weekly front, because this is a lot of fun, Aewspark. And if you would like to join me in this position where my friend Gary is, then please direct message me on Twitter or Instagram and let me know. I would love to have you on here and talk all elite wrestling with you. Next episode, of course, episodes are always recorded every week, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you need is Skype. And you can reach me, like I said, DM me, put your thoughts out there in the comment section down below, etc. I'm just all about engagement. Simple as that. And in case you haven't figured out by now, the reason I even became a YouTuber, support NoDQ. The reason I got into YouTube. Forever indebted to the NoDQ family. Thank you, Aaron Riff, Stephen R. Osborne, Jerry Slaughter, and other people that really encouraged me to pursue a creative outlet in my own way. So please, support my friends. I have a shirt. Buy a shirt, buy a tapestry, buy a mug, buy a pillow, buy a sticker. NoDQ.com/merch, take to the store. Follow NoDQ.com on social media platforms. Your opinions matter. There's a comment section and everything. Polls, columns, memes, skits, reviews, recaps, sexy female pics. You name it, it's there. Primarily wrestling with WWE with a little bit of AEW independent. Hey, they've been going for 20 years. They've been for the Attitude Era. We know what people were like during the Attitude Era. I didn't know because I was just a child. Anyway, but also stay tuned, of course, to NoDQ.com. They're going to give you news on AEW Revolution and the show from Country Redacted. And yes, I will have a format for the NoDQ Galaxy digitally as well on Country Redacted. So stay tuned for that. Other content coming up on this channel includes, but not limited to, a simple take bracketology on the New Japan Cup, as well as simply predicting wrestling and simple takes on the NJPW Anniversary Show, which it will be headlined by Hiroshi Tanahashi and Hiromu Takanishi. And I believe it's for All the Gold, if I read that correctly. That's bloody insane if that's true, but I need to double check that. And as always, I like to close. Support your wrestling outlets, both big and small, and let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite, unapologetic, authentic, unscripted wrestling community together. Simple as that. But with that being said, thank you again, everybody, for tuning in to a very special extended edition of AEW Spark. So I hope you enjoyed AEWDark and enjoyed what you heard. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit that bell, know when the next video is going to go live. Hit the subscribe button, help me grow the channel so I can reach out to more people and provide you more wrestling fun on all sorts of fronts. And until the next video, I just hope you all take care, enjoy life. Tomorrow's never guaranteed. Treasure your families. Enjoy wrestling. There's someone out there for everybody. Find what connects to you, make it your own, and have fun with it too if you want, just like me. I don't do this for anything but for fun. So until next time, I'm just a simple man of no DQ, Noah Foster. This is a great, good-hearted fellow wrestling fan and a good-hearted man in Gary, leader of Wrestling Discussions. I hope you all live life, be elite, and have a good night. Simple as that.